I'm going to be able to further elaborate on that. But talking about the Gambiarra, right? The Gambiarra is such an interesting concept, right? Gambiarra it also connects to Jeitinho Brasileiro. And you probably heard about this one, Aaron, Jeitinho Brasileiro, right? Like Jeitinho Brasileiro, it means like our Brazilian way of finding a way to do some. Unfortunately, most of the time is not something creative for the good. It's going to be something creative to handle things outside of the formal pathway. And I can give you an example, right, which is like just astonishing to me how pervasive this gambiarra or jeitinho brasileiro exists in Brazil. So this happens in real estate transactions. Many times you're gonna buy a property in Brazil. Let's say you're gonna buy this property for 1 million reais, and then the seller and most probably the realtor representing the seller is gonna tell you something like this: "What the seller? He bought this property for 200,000 reais. Now he's selling for 1 million. So he's gonna need to pay a lot of taxes on that." And just like it is very common in Brazil, we wanna declare the transaction for 500, meaning that you're gonna pay 1 million reais, right? It doesn't mean you're gonna pay 500. You still pay 1 million reais, but the seller, and guess who? You as well are gonna declare at closing that the price is actually 500,000. And because of the reduced price tag, guess what? The seller is gonna pay less capital gains tax. But let me be crystal clear: that's a crime, that's a fraud, and punishable by law. Okay, so that's an example of gambiarra and jeitinho brasileiro that is very unfortunate to our culture. And it's very interesting when we are approached by the foreign citizens and say, well, but they're saying it's super common, that's how things work in Brazil. And then we need to correct and listen, that's not how things work in Brazil. Yes, some people are going to do that, but that's illegal. That's actually a crime. And if you agree with the seller, you are participating in the crime, because guess what? When you attend the closing, you're going to be signing the paperwork just like the seller. And if you are declaring in the paperwork that you're paying 500 and in reality you're paying 1 million reais, you are participating in this fraud against the government. So, in other words, don't do it. Always do things by the books. That's how we work here at the firm. That's how we recommend you to do.